Thanks for tuning into our seller interview series. Up today, we've got an e-commerce and dropshipping business in the apparel and accessories niche. Created in June 2010, this business makes $7,827 per month in net profit, and the listing number for this site is 40791. Now, we do these interviews to give potential buyers more information about both the seller and the sites they're looking to purchase. We hope these insights are helpful for you in making a buying decision. We got the seller with us today to go through the business and cover everything from niche selection to traffic and monetization. Thanks for coming on, Frank.
Hello, Greg. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Before we dive into the questions, just to give a quick summary of the business for everyone out there listening in. This business was built in June 2010, has a monthly revenue of $155,285, with expenses sitting at $136,786 for that total net profit of $18,498. That is over a 12-month average. And apart from the domains and content, also included in the sell will be 5 other sites, the Magento account, as well as a marketplace, which is a separate platform that will be subject to negotiations.
Correct.
So with all that said, Frank, can you tell us a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses? Is this kind of your first one, or is it one of many?
Well, there's a little bit of a long story. So I've been in the online and digital business for the last, I would say, 15 years. I've had an e-commerce master degree, and I have for 12 years worked as a digital advisor in big firms in England, in Europe mainly. So the first idea of having an online business was when I was in my studies. I decided that the internet was going to bring so many good ideas and good new models to capitalize on. I decided to look at the opportunities. Then there was a point when we needed to change something in our lives, so we decided to look at online businesses to actually invest on. So that was in June 2010 when we decided that, okay, well, what are the things that we have in hand? How can we capitalize this expertise that I've gained in the last 15 years? Working with large retailers online, many companies that are actually advising in online business models, and I decided to start my own journey. That was in 2010. I started by looking at what are the opportunities there, what is really the online capability. So I look around me, and I'm not a gamer, I'm not a fashion guru, I'm not really a electrical gadget master. So I look at what we have on hand. So what we have on hand at that time was a very well-established supplier network with a key brands. That was based on my background in terms of dealing with many retailers and top brands. So that was the beginning of capitalizing one established business model. As a family, we own sports shops, outdoors, all that kind of interesting platform of suppliers and good business that is growing year over year for by 20-25% in Germany and in England. So I thought, okay, well, we have to capitalize in these 40 years of experience, and the best way to do so was to just decide to go and leverage this network of suppliers into an online platform.
Awesome. So that's how you basically came up with this idea then, with those connections you had. And it sounds like it was a natural evolution then, right?
It's a natural evolution because when you consider, for example, when you start a business, just forget for 1 second that the business is online or is a brick and mortar or is any other type of business. So what you want to leverage is what is behind the business in terms of connections, experience, and things like that. And when you have this already established, you are mitigating a huge part of the business risk that you will assume if you are starting by new business models, so or any business. So, for example, if you see some of the suppliers that we have in the online, they've been with us for many, many years. And sometimes you need to have an initial investment with the supplier for an average of 10K, so 10K. So we have an average of over 50 suppliers. So you do the math. So it's a relatively good amount. So it was already done. So we capitalize on that. We say, okay, we're going to put that together, pull that in that what we call online businesses, or what we call digital business now, and leveraging what is it. So we did that, consolidate that supplier management, We decided to go through what the advantages for the e-commerce for the people, what is the niche industry, because at that time we consider many alternatives, and I believe that we have been working in this niche market, which allow us to capitalize really into what the online opportunities are. And there are too many online businesses. Yes, I think the secret is just to have the right market, the right product, and a scalable business that will allow you to grow with the business and your goals. That's what we wanted to have in the first instance. And I believe that this is what is our mission. Our way to work is produce something scalable, something that we can capitalize on, that we can provide services, we can provide many other aspects for the community that we serve.
Is this primarily drop shipping? Are you sourcing any of the products yourself, or is it all drop shipping?
The moment we are doing only drop shipping.
Okay, cool. So for someone out there just looking at this business and maybe they're not super familiar with what drop shipping is, or maybe even online businesses in general, this could be one they're looking at as one of their first investments. Could you just briefly describe in a couple sentences how this business makes money?
Yes, drop shipping is a classic business model when the online retailer uses the established supplier network to make sure that they provide goods that they don't need to have an investment on, or they don't have to have a stock on. So primarily the people buy to us, buy in our portal, and then we order directly to the supplier. The suppliers send that to the end customers, or send that to us for a multiple package to be sent to the final customer. That is in a nutshell what a dropshipping model is. At the end of the month, we get a bill, so we pay our bill to the suppliers, and then we capitalize on the margins.
Excellent. Yeah, this is a pretty good description of what it is. Now, this business is making pretty healthy profit. Why are you selling the business? Why not just keep it and grow it?
Right. That's a good question. I don't know if I mentioned, we have been involved in many other business. When I say we, is the people that we have started the business with, so we are two. And some of the business are taking a little bit slightly approach in terms of where to invest, a pro technology, a pro digital, but at the moment we as a business group, we are looking at more in the investments in the real estate. That's a little bit some of the aspects that we want to highlight, because it's end of the day, we have a profitable business, we have a healthy business, but we have to make at some point radical decisions of what we have to focus. We can now focus fully in this online business when we have 2 or 3 other businesses running. And I believe that this is the great opportunity to make sure that we can find an investor that can capitalize on the already great work that has been done there.
Awesome. So you're looking to use this money after the sale to invest in these other projects, more or less.
Yes, yeah. So we have this price, so it's going to be a little bit more outside the online business. We will be using this capital as a part of the motion capital for the other projects that we have, and hopefully that will work as good as this.
Excellent. With all that said, moving back into when you were first starting this e-commerce store, what was the trajectory like? You mentioned you already had kind of a lot of these partnerships figured out, but when you first started and the site went live, did you find you were getting sales pretty quickly, or did it take a while for that to grow?
Well, that's an interesting part, because we started as a pilot. So let's say that we decided to go through a problem where was the reason for us to do this online. We tested a couple of niche markets, as I mentioned before, and we found finally what I thought, or what showed itself that it was a good idea. So we started a pilot. The pilot took probably about 6-7 months, and we decided to go through this. The sales started pretty much, not immediately, but pretty much about 3 or 4 months, when I started to see a little bit more established sales that you could actually say, okay, well, we see this working, we see this moving forward, so we need to focus more. So that's when we started looking at, okay, what aspect of the technology we need to improve, what aspect of the platform we need to develop. And then we started growing from a pilot software into what we have at the moment, that is based on Magento. It's a quite robust and content management platform that allow us to do many more things than only online dropshipping. So that is one of the reasons. So we have grown gradually to the level that what we are at the moment. It's been a lot of work put into there in terms of data, in terms of how we can understand the market, what are things that the market are telling us to do in order to capitalize, what are the brands, what are the products, what are the suppliers that are making a huge difference, what are the ones that we don't really need to. And it's been a long journey. 2010, we are 2017, 7 years, almost 7 years, dealing with the day-to-day basis to understand what works better. So,
just out of curiosity, you mentioned that you tested different niches. Are these 5 other sites included to sell kind of the sites you use to test certain angles or niches, or what's the story behind those?
Yeah, what we did was looking at sports aspects of the provider that we have. I mentioned that I was capitalizing on the already established supply network. And we tested a couple of things in the fashion, we tested a couple of things in the sports suppliers, online or e-commerce portals or websites. And they came with quite response that was not the greatest. So it's something that people can live out of, but it's not a scalable business model. So we decided that it was a little bit too soft, the result that we were getting from those. However, this niche that we have selected was a lot more responsive, and given the market that we have, which is quite wealthy market, so we believe that this is a generational time. Let me explain that a little bit more. So we have a very traditional niche market that is only perceiving the online and digital aspects for the last 5 years. So it's a traditional market that is trying to discover how to do things online. When we look at the fashion industry or the sports industry, there's been retail businesses going for generations that only they change slightly based on 2 or 3 new technologies. But this niche market, we have been in the transition where they started looking at the technology as an enabler to do what they want or buy what they want. So that is one of the reasons why we found this particular industry and market as a main competitive factor for us to exist.
Right. So with that said, what is the earning types with your business? It's all drop shipping, but are you finding that there's 1 or 2 products on your store that's making up the majority of the revenue, or is it kind of broken across multiple different SKUs or items?
We have a very interesting set of products. So our platform of products is mixed. So we have a little bit for everyone who is involved in this niche market. And this allows us to manage not only the seasons, but also run marketing campaigns. So I believe that this particular market is very responsive to the marketing efforts. I believe that we have, let's say, 20% of our products which are making the 80% of our revenue. And that's what we currently do. So we are looking at this particular 20% to maximize and try to make sure that the 80% that is not there, we pick some of the products to make sure that they transfer to the 20% that we capitalize. So the running efforts that are looking into maximizing what we currently have. Particular product, I don't think we have a superstar product. I believe that we have categories that are more interesting than others, but also we have products that are more profitable than others. So we try to balance these particular results based on the efforts that we put into our marketing campaigns or reach out to our client base.
How many products do you currently have on the store? Do you know?
Yes, I have an average. I mentioned at the beginning that we have established supply networks, so 50 brands that are like the ones that we currently have listed. They are not all that what we have relationship with, but we decided to focus on these 50.
Is each brand a product, so 50 products? Or
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool. When you said brand, I thought maybe each brand and multiple different products. So
Each brand has different multiple products. That's correct. So we're talking about 55,000 to 80,000 different SKUs in our website. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. But you don't have all of their SKUs on your e-commerce store right now, though, right?
No. We have.
Like, man, that's huge.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. That gives a lot of room for a new buyer to grow then, because I'm assuming these suppliers have like catalogs of things that the new owner would be able to pick through if they want to launch new products.
Yes, yes. We are collaborating with some of the providers also. That's they have at this point where we are in this particular niche market. So we are very close to the providers. I'm talking about top brands. They are very well known. And this is our competitive advantage because the people, when they're looking for the brands, they're looking for well-established quality products, a new, I want to discover kind of thing. So they are well-established brands. They have allowed us to work with the whole category or catalog that they have. And we are currently working on them to say, okay, well, what are the products that you're going to launch? So they say next 3 months, we're going to have X or Y set new products. So we work with them. So we have an established database for customer for more than registered customer for more than 100,000 registered customers plus the people that we have in Facebook that is about 20 to 30,000 followers. So we have a huge community that is receiving what we call newsletters, information, and the suppliers or our providers are actually collaborating with us to make sure that the people are aware about the new developments and we are part of the whole communication. So that is a very healthy, good, managed relationship with the suppliers that makes us a more competitive online player.
And you mentioned any marketing campaigns and your Facebook following or your social media following, rather. Are you mainly doing paid traffic on social media to get traffic to your marketplace, or are you also getting like organic search and all that good stuff?
We have organic search. We have returning visitors in average of 40 to 50%. So that is from the fact that we're talking about this 150, 120,000 people connected to us directly. So when we promote something, we hit right in the core of our niche market. And that's as a competitive advantage for the business. So the marketing campaigns are based on what we decide that we have to focus on or what we want to do in order to move one of the, let's say, brands that are not performing as good into the 20% that we mentioned. And that's just to keep the balance. Sometimes it's about, even though we are at dropshipping, sometimes we find that the providers say, okay, we have this for X% discount, so can you guys sell that quicker? Then we just do that. And then we have some advantages in the margins in those operations.
Now, let's pretend, hypothetically, you're not going to sell this business and you want to, keep it and grow it. What would be the least risky path you'd focus on to grow this business?
I think some of the stuff that we have not done, just look at when we have these well-known products. So what we have not done is just really investing enough time to work in a multi-channel strategy, for example. We have not invested enough time in doing search engine optimization as we should. There are a couple of things that we will have to focus or we in the plan to do because we believe that it's a huge difference. So the multi-channel, so when we have products that are already listed in many platforms, but we can provide a competitive advantage in terms of price, it's good to have a well-planned multi-channel strategy. The brands is always a good opportunity when we talk about what are the brands that are going to be performing better. When I'm talking about brands, let's focus on one thing. Brands is in a specific category, or that one brand can be in several categories. So we're talking about the opportunities. So we have a lot more area of improvement in terms of how we're going to manage our platform. Magento, I mentioned at the beginning that we have 5 main domains in which we are currently working as a blog at the moment, and we are not running campaigns individually and based on the geographic demand. I think that's a very good point of focus that we should be doing. So try to focus in what we can do geographically rather than generally. Some of the aspects that I'll be covering, or I will be more than willing to focus in the next 12 months as the plan continues as it is.
That's good, man. I really like the idea of focusing on geography. On the flip side here, would you do anything different to grow this business if, if your main goal was to grow as quickly as possible and you just kind of threw caution to the wind? What would be like something incredibly risky you could do that would grow the business fast?
Okay, so incredibly risky. So we want to, I would say there are a few things that I will focus on. One is try to leverage the niche market. There is a lot of complementing business that I will start partnering with the people that are around providing similar services services or products as we do. Partnering, doing a lot more aggressive affiliate programs. We provided, probably will be looking at investing more in a little bit stock, as that may be a good opportunity to us to be more profitable. Even though that sounds a little bit against the dropshipping model, but I believe when we have these good opportunities based on the supplier relationship, we can get 20 to 30% more margin in areas where we know we are good at. We risky, I think we are, in the moment, we are developing this marketplace, and the marketplace will bring a new whole idea or a new whole scenario of what the people can do with these particular products. I said at the beginning that we had a transition period where the people from this particular market move from this traditional way of doing business into getting online. They are relatively new to this market online, but then we leverage the technology to enhance or provide the tools to these people to make sure that they can trade online. And this is already incorporated in this portal. So we have data coming from one side to the other. People that have been registered to us already incorporating in the marketplace. Is a business that itself generates a lot more perspective for the future. And I believe that is a great opportunity how this business will move forward.
Excellent. And now, speaking of risk, what do you think the biggest risk to this business is that a buyer should be aware of? Is there anything that stands out?
Yes, I believe that is any business comes with a certain percentage of risk. I believe that the risk here is we have an online business model that is performing well, has to perform better. But what are the risks? Every time we have a lot more competition in terms of prices, we have a lot more competition in terms of products. And the risks that the people should be aware of is how can we actually use, let's say, online marketing in a better way. We believe that we can use it. We believe that we have talented people, but in reality is that every effort that we put in online on digital marketing can be capitalized or no. There are some risks. There are other risks in terms of market volatility, like any other business. There are risks of, I would say, technology batches that you may have. But in reality, I believe the risks are coming pretty much standard to any other online operations. In this particular business, I don't see any risk that we highlight as above any other online business.
Yeah, agreed. And honestly, with the e-commerce store in general, typically the risk is a little bit less in a sense because you have so much more control of the process. Unlike if you were, on Amazon FBA, you're kind of enslaved to whatever Amazon tells you to do, right? That's interesting. Now, as far as work required goes, could you describe kind of like what are you doing on a weekly or even maybe a monthly basis right now to maintain the site, to maintain the store?
Right. So we have currently at the moment we have 2 people on the online shop operations. So that means that they are there to take orders, process orders, talk to the suppliers, maintain the relationship with the suppliers. And whenever is multiple, I mentioned that at the beginning, when we have multiple brand orders that needs to be centralized package, we have these 2 people to do that also. So let's say that we have an order from supply A and order from supply B, that they comes to our offices and they pack and they send that to the final customer. So this is something that we have to bear in mind because it's not little work. Sometimes we have many contact from the people who have bought from us and they call us and they say, okay, well, we want to have this and that product. We need to make sure that you can send this with that. So we have to have this kind of logistic approach. So that is interesting, and that's pretty much the full time for these people. They are fully occupied on these things. One person is the whole operation in terms of orders. The other person is trying to maintain or maintaining and coordinate the tasks that we have set for the week or for the month or the whole point, right? Myself, what I do is trying to spend few hours a week. I'm talking about 3-4 hours. And what we do is set up the tasks that we have to follow for the next, let's say, month. So we need to update prices. We need to collaborate with the marketing guys. Marketing guys is something that, by the way, I said something before I forget. It's very hard in an online business, like any online e-commerce business, to find the right balance between technology or digital provider or partner or agency that you work with. Difficult to find the marketing sources that helps you with the digital, the banners, blah, 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 all these kind of things. But we have that. We have gone through increasingly frustrating process until we got to the point when we have found what we believe is the good point. So we are set to go up, because we're talking about 7 years when we try different agencies, we try different marketing guys, newsletters, and all these kind of service providers, when in reality, you get a super charge for something that is really not much work required, or two, someone not charging for not doing anything and then your business gets stuck. So we have the right collaboration at the moment. So I don't know if that may fit in the kind of risk, but it's already a risk that is already mitigated based on the experience that we have gone through. And then we have these things that we want to do, and we have found the people that can do that. So again, going back to the point, so 3 hours when I set up things that we need to do, and I count on the people that we're working with. So in our numbers, our numbers is already reflected the expense that we have for these people that we believe are essential for the business, which is the digital marketer, the content generation people, the marketing campaigners, and all that kind of thing, that are working in collaboration with the other two people that are working. So that is a team effort that we focus and we look at setting up the task every week or every 2 weeks to make sure that we go to the goal that we want.
I'm assuming the team will be coming with the new buyer?
Yes. The new buyer will assume the whole team. The team is informed that we are in the process to have conversations with both the potential investors, and then they are happy to jump on board when the time is ready. So that it's a truly interesting factor when we believe that the employees really see the value that they are giving. Yeah, they see the potential of the business. We have worked together into the marketplace beta extension of the business. We have discussed into creating new business models based on what we currently have, which is a very interesting point, because I don't know if that is only my point of view, but I believe that online businesses bring many opportunities, but however, not all are totally successful. For some online businesses to be successful, they need to be, from my perspective, they need to be in the right market, at the right with the right product, with the right margin, right? They have to have the right partnership to grow together. Right partnership, that is people, on that is technology, and that is providers. That is the whole ecosystem of the business. And the most important, and that's for me only based on what I've lived in my experience, is a business has to be scalable and flexible by default. If you create a business that is going to be top, and you've been doing tops and that's it, and that we cannot integrate, connect, collaborate with other businesses, you're stuck. So, and that is what I believe. This is a business for someone who is really or truly with an entrepreneurial mindset, that has passion about growing, passion about discovering, passion about getting things done, passion about working with people, and all this. You can call it online business, digital business, but that comes with a personality, right? And that brings more. If someone's gonna have this and say, okay, I'm gonna buy a business, I'm gonna sit down, and I'm gonna put my feet up, forget. This is not your business. This is not your business. You look at something that you are passionate about, you like, you enjoy, you are with great people, you grow together, and you make things happen. Simple.
So moving into some wrap-up questions here, would you be willing to sign a non-compete with the new buyer saying, hey, look, I'm not going to go start this business next week after you buy it from me?
Yeah, sure.
And how much support would you be willing to offer that buyer?
I said at the beginning was maximum 60 days in terms of introducing to the whole supplier network. I have a whole list of activities already planned out for the people, introduction, team, future strategy. What things have we done to actually map out the opportunities we see? What are the areas that we have to cover? The or normal running operation aspects. And I believe that is a calculated 60, an average of 60 working days to make sure that
Is that
we can
including
get.
like Skype calls or is that email or?
That's including a Skype call, that's including a physical person, that's including a little bit of coaching when it's needed, that's including everything that has to be done in order to get this business. My best interest is that this business will run and will run well. And I'm not going to leave it behind to someone who is going to invest in the business and then leave. No, I'm just going to be there, making sure that things are running smoothly, introducing the team, as I said, making sure that the tasks are clearly defined, processes, time scales, elements that we need to focus on. So ideally, that will be a minimum the same profitability that currently have.
Excellent. And obviously, the best case scenario for you and for Empire Flippers is someone comes in and buys your business at full list price. But would you at all be open to a split or earn out, say like 80% up front, and then they give you the remaining 20%, I don't know, maybe 2 months after purchasing it, once all the training is done and all the support has been given? Would you at all be open to something like that?
Yes, I will be open to discussing it after training payoff kind of thing. That wouldn't be a problem for me.
Awesome. Very cool. Okay, so I have one final question for you, Frank. Before I dive into that question, though, I just want to remind everyone about this business, about everyone that's listening in on YouTube, on the marketplace listing. So a quick summary again. This business was built in June 2010, has a monthly revenue of $155,285. Expenses are $136,786 for that net profit of $18,498 over a 12-month average. Now, apart from the domain and the content, included with the sell are 5 sites we mentioned, the Magento account, as well as the marketplace, which is a separate platform that can be subject to some negotiations. And obviously, we did also mention that the team will be coming with the new buyer to help them continue to grow the business and maintain it. So with that said, Frank, my final question for you, my hot seat question, if you will, is what is your best pitch in 30 seconds or less on why someone should purchase your business?
Okay, so this is a business that has been generating profit for the last 7 years. So I believe that it can be better and faster and stronger. I believe that this is a good opportunity for the people who have a mindset that wants to make a difference in the way how they do the business and really like the online part of the business. But as I said before, we believe that we are in the right market with the right products and the right margin. We believe that we have the right partners to deliver in excellence, and we believe that we are set up as a scalable and flexible business, which is why this business is only going up. So any interest, we're happy to discuss.
Excellent. Now, for everyone out there, if you're watching this on YouTube and you want more information, the link will be below the video that would take you to the actual marketplace listing. Now, if you're on the marketplace listing and you're watching this information, you want more, you can become a depositor today. It's super simple. All you have to do is click the button, make a deposit, and you'll be given everything you need to review this business. So thank you so much for coming on, Frank. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate your time.